Hello, everyone. I hope the summary I have here today would really give you an overview of the pandemic government assistance and grants. Because you want to, it doesn't really matter what kind of business you are in, and you want to know the overall picture of where we are as a country, of what those grants are. Because you may not be the one using it, but you would have friends, relatives needing to know there is such a thing out there so they can take advantage of. So today's the way I do it. I'm going to share a PowerPoint here, and I'm also going to show you the actual website. So let's get going. And no responsibility disclaimer, take whatever I say with a grain of salt, right? And now let's get to the real content. So here, this list is a federal assistance for businesses. This webinar, we don't touch on individual ones, because the individual one, the stimulus check, they're getting old and boring. And let's just talk about the business side. So you have SBA, and I kind of separated the two main government agencies that really have direct impact to you. So that is SBA and also IRS. So what is SBA has, you see the list. PPP2, you know what I'm talking about. And the EIDL loan, you know what I'm talking about. RRF, Restaurant Revitalization Fund, that already opened for registration on Friday. And if you're a restaurant owner and you're still wondering what I'm talking about, you really fall behind. Please either call your CPA and call Community CPA if you needed to understand what's going on. Any of our staff would be able to tell you what that is, what you need to do. And Monday, May 3rd, Monday, and that is the time, 12 noon for East Coast, which I would say New York, and 11 for Des Moines, Iowa, and the Midwest, and 9 for California. That's the starting point. You can apply for RRF, right? And then, of course, Shattered Venue Operator Grant. It's actually Operator Grant. I always call it Operation Grant. Anyway, so that is for the live venue, like the theaters, the movie theaters, and the event centers, people like that, for them. Then debt relief, how much do you know about that? What about new loans? How much you know about that? So these are government programs that is out there available. If you look at all of these items, you go, I don't know what you're talking about. You are following behind. You need to really start learning. And one of the easy way to learn is to subscribe to our channel. And just when we give you the notification of video come up, and you just listen to that, and you don't even have to look at me. And I always tell people that don't look at me, because I'm really not trying to look good on these kind of webinars. I'm just trying to give you the knowledge. So you just look at my PowerPoint and then listen to what I say. That's all you need to do. And you can drive and put me on the side and listen to what I'm talking about, gain knowledge that way. You don't have to stay in the classroom. You don't have to look at a piece of paper. You just listen. A lot of people actually learn from listening. I'll tell you that, English is my second language. And if I tell you how I learned English, you will not believe me. I learned English from songs. I love to listen to the English songs. So I sing those songs and I learn those words. I hear them. So that's how I learned English initially. So really, knowledge can be learned that way. You just listen to it. Then IRS, I listed IRS because IRS also have programs that's really beneficial for businesses, and I want you to know, right? Okay, so let's get going. Okay, the first one, PPP. You know that the PPP second is here, and the due date by the end of May. We are in May now. Today is May 1st. You still have time to apply for the second PPP second. PPP second round doesn't mean you can only apply when you get the first round. No, PPP second round allow people who didn't get PPP in the first round to apply. So you could apply it twice if you have applied it earlier, because you could get the first one, then 8 weeks later, you apply for the second round. And on this PPP second program, folks, the biggest change is about the Schedule C. Remember, the Schedule C used to calculate on net profit to give you the amount of PPP. But on this new PPP second round, it changed that from line 31 to line 7. So it is not by profit, it's by your sales minus cost of goods sold. If you only have sales with no cost of goods sold, then your sales is the way to calculate your PPP. So folks, you need to know that is still available. And if you have not applied, apply. I know someone has a burning question on here saying that, well, I applied, but I haven't really get it. Now the RRF is here. Am I going to apply for IRF, or I have to wait for my second PPP to know that I got it or not? No, you don't wait. If you did not receive your second PPP amount, and when you apply for RRF, you do not put in the number there to reduce your RRF amount. So once you got your RRF and you don't go back for PPP2 anymore, but if you didn't get a PPP2, and make sure that you still apply for RRF. All right, the next one would be Economic Injury Disaster Loan, EIDL. So this is the program that SBA has, which is a loan, but it has a very low percentage, 3.75, 30 years. 30 years straight. So it's not like you have 5 years full loan and the 375, and then later you raise it higher. No, it is the same. So you know, there's also a no prepayment penalty. You can pay it back anytime. So there is they open up EIDL and you can apply for additional funds. If you got the first, you applied, you got a 150,000. Now you need more, you can still apply, folks. Okay. So that's EIDL. Then Shattered Venue Operator Grant. This grant is provide the relief for those live venue operators and promoters, theater producers. Those people, they the funds is giving them 45% of their gross earned revenue, with the maximum amount available for single grant towards the 10 million. So they look at your 2019 revenue, knows how bad you are, and they're giving you 45% of that. So this is a grant that you would, you know, if you have a neighborhood museum, you have a neighborhood theater, and you know, people don't know about that, and make sure they know, because this is still open, okay? And the next one would be debt relief. People in business, whoever has small business loan, it is automatically, I am saying you don't need to do anything. Suddenly you realize that you don't have to pay your loan, because the government is paying for it. This is SBA debt relief. I want you to know that this is available to existing SBA loans, okay? And this assistance is actually give you a lot of benefit. Look at this. And you know, if you receive an automatic deferment of principal interest payment through December 31st, 2020. The initial deferment period was subsequently extended even to March. An additional 12 months is coming in. What they're doing is they pay 6-month principal interest and the associated fees, whatever fees that may be for you. So if you had a SBA loan, you don't think you got that, that is where you need to ask that question. You should. It's automatic, no application needed. The bank knows your SBA guaranteed loan, so they should have you be on that already. If not, you need to find out why not. Then here comes a real interesting one. It is not so much out there, and you won't find a lot of information on this one, but this is a really good one. If you are looking at expanding your business, there is an SBA borrowing incentive in 2021, folks, right now. There is a pot of money available and it expires in September, at the end of September, so which is the third quarter, okay? Or when the money run out. So we don't know when the money ran out, but right now, as I am sitting here, the money is still available. So this is what they give you. They waive your loan fees. The loan fees is 2 to 3.5% of the loan you borrow. The loan fees is always there when you do SBA loan, so they waive it. And they also pay your first 6 months. Listen to that. First 6 months of interest principal payment up to $9,000 a month. And SBA guarantee ratio raised from 75% to 90%. This is for the lender. So let's say you did SBA loan with Wells Fargo. And Wells Fargo, you in the past, they're typically, if you default on your loan, Wells Fargo will get 75% of that loan back because the SBA guaranteed. That's why they can lower their underwriting standards to give small business a chance to get loan, right? So that's why you call them SBA loan. And that guarantee rising from 75 to 90%. So that means the bank can take more deliberations to really give you a better chance to qualify for that loan. And with I know it is not a direct benefit for you, but you should feel the difference because you may not be qualifying by conventional way, but you would qualify for SBA. And if you got that loan, folks, your underwriting or origination fee is waived, and then you got your 6 months free payment up to $9,000. So I have example here, and let's say if you buy $1 million commercial building, you put 20% down, so you borrow $800,000. $800,000 times 3.5, $28,000 fee waived. Number one. Number two, your monthly payment is $6,700, interest and the interest principal together. And now, because it is lower than $9,000, waived for 6 payments. And the bank love to have you because even if you default and they have 90% recovery rate from SBA. So that tells you this is what SBA is doing. And if you don't know, you know it now, right? So this is why we want to put the webinar together because we just want to bring you the knowledge so you know what to ask. Now, let's talk about IRS. I know we talked about SBA. So these are the federal programs. And tell me you know that, right? RRF, I did not put that in here. I should really put that in here. And it is, I have a webinar videos on RRF. If you just go to our website, our YouTube, really study the RRF, Restaurant Revitalization Fund. And who is not applying for that as a restaurateurs? You are just not normal. I don't know what you're doing, don't know what you're thinking, unless you made more money in 2020 compared to 2019. You should have a big, huge trophy for yourself. You are great. But the one who suffered, you really do have a way to recover some of that. And this is the effort, it's so bold and widespread. And I don't know why you don't know, you should know. So with that, I conclude all the SBA programs, and on the business side, let's focus on IRS. So IRS has 3 things that they offer to us. Number one is the employee retention credit. And the employee retention credit, and it is sort of confusing, but let me just sort of sort it out for you. So there is 2 years we're talking about, 2020 and 2021. So with 2020, there is two big requirements you want to remember. So number one, you must suffer significant gross receipt drop. And that drop, they require that drop to be 50%. So in 2019, if your first quarter is 100,000, they want to know that you drop to 50,000 in the first quarter of 2020. If you qualify for that, and you can claim employee retention credit, and the credit calculation is 5,000 per employee maximum in the year of 2020. So you maybe qualify for one quarter, then you qualify for a second quarter and a third quarter, fourth quarter, however you you calculate it, but that's the maximum, 5,000 per employee. So I want you to know that it is the 50% of 100, the 50% of 10,000 monthly payment to the employee. So that's a 5,000, right? So that is your maximum for the year. So don't mistaking that to be a quarter or a month, that's a year. Now let's think of 2021. So the from CARES Act all the way to Consolidated Appropriation Act, from there to Rescue Act, we just got so many acts, from the White House. And never mind about people who are not in this profession. I'm telling you that if I don't review what I am going to talk about, and I could get messed up just right there as well. It's just too many changes. But for 2021, for ERC, it is very different. And the benefit is 7,000 per employee per quarter. So what I am telling you is the maximum credit for 2021 is 28K, 28,000 per employee. Of course, how do you get qualified? The way to get qualified is number one, the government shut you down because of COVID. Or number two, if you don't have that and your gross sales drop by 20% on the qualifying quarter. So let's say in quarter one, 2021, and you run your sales and it is, let's say it is $1 million. Then, but for 2019, this million means 20% drop. So your 2019 should be 1.2 million. So that is the 20% calculation you need to know. And to calculate that, once you qualify, then you can go about calculating your profit, your credit. It is a refundable credit. That means as long as you have an employee, and you will get money back. So you get it through 941. And I want to tell folks that, you might sit here goes, oh, Ying, I forgot to do my 2020. No worries, because you have 2 years to go back to fix your 2020, what you did not claim. And for 2021, it's the same thing, because 941 allow you to amend. You don't have to be so, so uptight with, not doing this, not doing that. We just already have so much going on. But know that your employee retention credit can take time. You don't lose it. As long as you file it properly, you will get it. So that is the IRS biggest return, biggest payback for employer who has less than 500 employees. All right. So what was the other two? We have 3 from IRS. The next one is sick and a family leave credit. I know that people don't want to think about this because small business owners, we are actually, we don't, can't even pay ourselves. And what do you mean by paying, so you're saying that I have to pay my employee when they're sick? The answer is yes. And you should and go for the sick and the family leave credit and pay your employee for being sick from COVID and get that money back from filing 941. So the threshold is that the employee can take up to 80 hours of sick leave. and still get paid regular. And you take that money you paid to that employee and go to your 941, claim that back. So you're not out. You are just getting the money back later, but pay it ahead. So this is what IRS offered folks for sick and a family leave credit. The reason it's called a sick and a family leave is because they allow the employee to take time off, take care of family members. They don't have to be sick themselves. And they can take care of their kids and still get this treatment. Okay, so but knows that you're not out. You're just paying it ahead and getting it back later. Okay, and now the new one came up. This one, the one I just showed you earlier, this one actually ends on March 31st, 2021. So practically speaking, it's done. No more. But they came up with a new one called a paid leave credit for vaccines. And this one starts from April 1st. You see, goes to September 30th, 2021. But they no longer carry the family piece. This is just for the employee. When they got shot, they got sick, and you give them time out and a time off, and they rest at home, but you did not reduce their pay. And that you can claim credit back from your 941 return. You know, I know you have so much questions after I said that. Your question would be like, so what do you mean? How do I do that? Which line of 941 do I do? Those are all detailed questions. And right now, right here, I won't be able to lead you there, but you're, you know, if you do a payroll yourself, or if you have your CPA working on your things, these people knows, or you just forget about what you have and just come to Community CPA. We'll take care of you. And we never would say no to people coming in and wanting help. We know they're all very serious. They all needed help and we help, okay? So with that, it kind of concludes what I was just talking about on the federal side. So I am going to go back on the slides and to lead you to my summary page. Okay, and I actually kind of skipped RRF, right? I didn't spend a lot of time. I want to bring back that to your attention again. This is the most important activity in United States of America on Monday, May 3rd. Every restaurant from the street corner all the way to the high-rise building, it doesn't matter where you operate. And as long as you're in the United States of America, you apply. And you know, if you are in a weird situation, you think you're qualifying for table 3, but you don't know how to do it, it is time to get professional folks to come to help you, or go for free help from SBDC or SBA's local office. Just call them up, say that I want free help and I need help, and have them guide you. And I think that way you won't be forgotten. And I want to make sure that you actually have those kind of help tips in your hand, so you know when to hire for help and when to get a free help. Okay, now I'm going into the next section, which is what I called, this is the federal help, right? So our next section is by state. So I have Iowa first, Minnesota second, and California third. And the way I go through this, I am going to share my my web browser, because I want to show you the website so you can register with what that look like, and you know how to get there to search for possible grants and additional help from the state level. All right, so now let's take a look at our website. So what you see right now, it is our Community CPA YouTube channel. This is what I was talking about to subscribe, and our videos are all here. So today is no difference. It will arrive here I mean, cat don't sleep, and she just, once we finish the video, and then she polished it up and she put online, so no delays. And you can register our webinar on our website. This is where you register, right? You always see, we're always here at 3 p.m. really, except Sunday. So we have a lot of content to share with you. Now I'm going to the state help that I was talking about. The first website, the first one is Iowa. Remember, we're going to talk about Iowa. And Iowa has this Iowa Economic Development Authority, and this is their website. And in here, as of today, there's nothing really open, but I do want you to know this address, okay? COVID funding programs. And you want to come here because if there is any program coming out by the state government, it is right here. So that's why I want to bring you over to look at the website. And then one other particular sub-site, it is, if you type that address in, it is a iowaeda.com/community development block grant, a CDBG programs. So in here, you can explore. There's $2.4 million here, folks. So if you are in the state of Iowa, and you should look into these downtown revitalization fund, employment, transportation, housing rehab, all of these are actually useful link to dig what grants might be available to you. You know, I know that normally without pandemic, you know, when we talk to our business owners, we tell them to do, you know, to go ahead and reorganize your layout and make your business process more efficient, and to go ahead to do your inventory cleaning up, and let's do write down so that way, you know, your tax is being paid accurately. But during the pandemic time, the talk about survival for business owners, or even thriving for business owners, it is not just about business conduct. It is about understanding what the government has for you. That is just integral part of your business. You cannot, don't carry shame over government funding. And I tell people that back in 2020, when this first PPP comes out, and I see a lot of our clients, they just never ever owed government a penny. And they're so anxious about, you know, getting even a notice from the government. It doesn't matter if it's a good one or bad one, they're already stressed out. So those people, they refuse to go for those kind of funds. And I understand that, but by the time we arrive 2021, I hope that everybody understand that this is just part of the help the government give us. And if you don't utilize it, it just puts you in a different spot to compete with other businesses. And if you want your competition, level to go down and you don't care to do that, it's okay. But it's just giving yourself a different level to compete. And I would say that government funding in so many ways need to be peanut butter approach, just because we want to give business a tool to all level at the same time, and go for their own advantage, instead of having government funding only help for one type of business or one business or fewer business, and putting the rest of the people in a disadvantage or a less competitive. That's just not the purpose of the government funding. By defeat that, and we need you to be more proactively looking at what's going on outside, right? Now, in Iowa, Des Moines, city of Des Moines also have two programs. One is outdoor seating exceptions, and this is assistance that you can apply. And also the other one is the delivery and takeout assistance. And if you are in Des Moines and you are in restaurant business and you did not tap into these two, then I really think it's nobody else's responsibility but yours. Right? So make sure you tap into that. and really look at these funding. These are the 4 we pull out for Iowa. And in Minnesota, there is a Minnesota Job Creation Fund by deed, employment and economic development. Okay, so this Job Creation Act, you can apply. There's a lot of details in here, but if you are a business hiring people, and you should pay attention to that. And I won't go into detail, but I already lead you to this website. So you come into the state website. This is the state Department of Employment and Economic Development. They call them DEED, D-E-E-D. And come in here and you will find under Minnesota Job Creation Fund, you find here. And then there's another one called Merging Entrepreneur Loan Program. This is a loan program, but it is a subsidized loan program. So it is, if you have to borrow, maybe in Minnesota, you should borrow from here first. And with that, there is also a Minnesota grant called Launching Minnesota. It is for businesses that's starting in Minnesota, and you will come here to see what kind of benefit, what kind of help they can give you. It's $35,000 for your business. And this has been going on for a while, but it's opening up again for application. Then the number 4, the last one related to Minnesota, what we want to point out, it is the Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation. And in here, and I want you to see that these grant opportunities has an early care education, wraparound grant, early literacy grant, economic impact grant, paint the town grant, and the small town grants. And it's a variety of initiatives that you can look for. And it is really a place to look for opportunities, folks. Okay, so I want you to know this grant opportunity under Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation. The last, not the least for Minnesota, is actually this Launch Minnesota investor site. This is the one that I want to bring to your attention, because when you are doing business in Minnesota, if you're looking for investors, okay, looking for investors, and here is a website. This is the this is actually a government website. If you look at the site, you see it is minnesota.gov. It is a government website, but they identify some of the investors that you could get in touch with. And look at, they even have how much they want to give you. Average investment, 25K, 100K, $1 million. So it is all here. So make sure that you know your options. And even though we're in pandemic, but for some, it is such a great opportunity to start up a business. Okay, and when things are going south for some of the business, there are also some of the business are scaling. You know, I say that with the fact, because we're sitting in the place where we see so many businesses. I will tell you, we don't see a lot of businesses are failing. Yes, there are one, but we also see the same people and closing out the failing business, starting up a very rapid growth business. So it is really not about the big environment. It is about you. It is really about you, how much drive you have in you and to get this thing done, to do something meaningful. Now, with that, we wrap up Minnesota and now come to California. And for California, I have 2 things I want to mention. The first one is California Small Business COVID-19 Relief Grant Program. This is already the 6th round, okay? Already the 6th round. And I want to mention this to you because we want to make sure that you know to apply. And once they're saying that first come, first serve, but they're doing 6 rounds. So that tells you they still have money. And the end of this grant is May 5th, Tuesday, next week. So if you happen to, if you're on my webinar right now, know people in California, and you don't give them a call, tell them about this relief grant, and I'll say shame on you. You should tell them they have something great that they can look into. There's $475 million available here. And it is enough money for everybody to get something, okay? So make sure that you know it is opening till Tuesday. The next one is a loan guarantee program. This is California special. California government has this, what they call California Infrastructure Economic Development Bank. So they call it iBank. It's not like iPhone. Is the I stands for infrastructure. So what they're doing is when you are in the loan program and they provide guarantee, because of this guarantee, the lender could be very lenient to you. So they would do loan with you because they have the guarantee. This is California government initiated program. So you can actually coming in here when you work with lender, when you work with lender, you can come over here and to tap into the understanding with the lender and saying that whether this you can use to help you to expand business. Why not? I mean, when did we ever have a government involvement so wide and deep for expansion of the business? Even SBA has this new loan things, and you heard me talking, right? Not a lot of people knowing that. If you are still at a place where you're looking for money and you want to start business, and you should go through this webinar, really digest everything I was talking about and apply and be innovative. Be innovative in the way that to utilize the government funds in the cohesive way, knowing that you can get ERC and you can also get PPP. You can get a restaurant revitalization fund, even though you got PPP. So those are the things, they don't contradict with each other. The only thing I know for sure, you should not be applying it twice, is if it is you apply for shattered venue operator fund, you should not be doing the RRF, okay? Other than that, you really are safe. So here, this is SBA website. And by now, you as a business owner should have came here at least a couple of times. You should not be looking at this website goes, oh no, I don't know what this is. This is SBA.gov. You come over here, all of the program related to COVID-19 relief is right here. PPP, EIDL loan, and Restaurant Revitalization Fund, Shattered Venue Grant, SBA Debt Relief, and the cross-program eligibility. SBA did such a great job for us, and they did these things for us so we don't get confused, and we need to know their rule. So this is their rule. And this is right in their website. So if this is too small for you, I know the website can be very small for people who are trying to follow me on the webinar. See right here, this is I'm not that creative. I just know that these are important information for you. Let's look at the people who are going to apply for RRF. And if you are going to apply for RRF and you intend to be an RRF recipient, and here it says, okay, on top of these categories is the program, okay, the PPP program, Shattered Venue program, this is EIDL program, This is RF program. So they're just talking about the program. So if you apply for RF here for PPP program, they say PPP loan received by the RF applicant will affect the applicant's funding calculation. So what they're saying is that if you got your PPP money, when you apply for RF money, just reduce it. We don't want you to duplicate. So, but see, received. What if you applied PPP second, or you even applied PPP one, but you never got it? Then you don't. Then you don't reduce your PPP, the amount that you applied, but you never got it. Okay, so this is the important one related to RF and the PPP. So here, entity that have a pending application for or received an RF are not eligible to apply for sheltered venue operator grant. All right, so if you click on Monday, when you go in to type into your RF application, if you have a pending application, as soon as you put your name in, you have a pending application. As long as you have a pending application or you already received RF funds, that just says that you cannot apply for sheltered venue fund. These two cannot be applied at the same time. So you make a choice, folks, right? So that's what it says. And for you to apply for RRF, what if you received EIDL? You may apply for EIDL, no big deal. You may already receive the EIDL, no problem. So that's what it says. So what about the RF applicants? It says that you can't apply for it twice. You can only apply once for every EIN number. So here I want to mention to you, when you apply for RRF, when you go into the portal, and say if you are a business owner, had many restaurants. So what do? And you don't register so many times. You register once. So when you apply for RRF, you just apply for a new one, add a new one. So you add all your restaurants in there. You apply each one separately because they all have separate EIN number. They're probably operating separately in the location as well, right? So make sure that you know to register once, but as long as you have a different EIN number, and that represents you have a different business. And if you have one EIN number for the business that you opened it up on 2nd Avenue, but you have a restaurant catering services, and that is under your social security number or under your IT number. If that is the case, you have a separate application going on because they're not the same entity, okay? Even though you own that one, but it has its own EIN number. So it is not the same as your social security number, so that should be a separate application. So, and here, and for the PPP recipient, some people are still applying for PPP too, and this says that the first draw PPP borrowers may be eligible to apply the second draw, okay? So when you apply for PPP, even though you applied in 2020, you could apply for the first draw and 8 weeks later do the second draw. So let's say if you got your first draw PPP sometimes in April and March of this year, you need to hurry up to do the second application to make sure make sure you're eligible, right? If your revenue didn't drop by 25%, then you are not eligible. So if you're eligible, your second one should come in right away. So don't miss the May 30th deadline. And PPP recipients and related to sheltered venue grant, it says may apply for sheltered venue grant if received a PPP loan. If PPP loan received after December 27, 2020, then the PPP loan will be deducted from the shattered venue grant. May not apply for PPP after receiving shattered venue grant. You can see how they want you to just get one of the two of the one, but not both, right? And related to PPP, you can apply for EIDL, no restriction, as long as you don't use it for the same purpose. So what does that mean? That means that, let's say you got your PPP grant, you are paying salary, use PPP funds, but you don't use EIDL loan to pay salary again, right? So don't use two sources of money to pay for the same expense. That's what it says. Then RRF, PPP loan received by the RRF applicants will affect the applicant's funding calculation. Okay, that just means that it will reduce. If you receive the PPP, and it will reduce it. Back to our YouTube channel, folks, you probably goes, oh, Ying, today I was going to hear you talking about RRF. You know, this one, folks, this one, hands-on application guide for RRF. This is the one right now has almost 1,000 views on it. That is the one I give a very good outline how you should apply for it. And Monday, 3 p.m., Tuesday, 3 p.m., and then we will bring back RRF step by step for you. And if you needed to know how to do it, I always tell folks that don't worry about not applying on the first day, the second day, the first week and the second week. You will have the fund. It won't run up that fast. But if you wait for a month, I don't know, okay? So make sure you get everything together before you apply, because once you submit the button, if you had anything wrong, boy, I don't know how long you're gonna wait. So you could be in the system, never came through, and you can't apply it second time. So make sure that submit button is the button that you're sure you did it right, everything is going smoothly. Otherwise, you cannot do it. Don't do it. You'd rather do it late than doing it rush and then make mistake. Then you are going to wait for SBA to come back to you. I just don't think they're gonna have time. And these people, I mean, I don't think the government have ever worked so much like SBA folks, and they're busy, they're tired. And if you don't get things ready and your application is crooked in there and they don't have time for you. Hopefully, and you gain some knowledge today again with us. And remember all of these federal programs, the state program, and remember it is your job to know them, to apply to your business so you can stay healthy and stay happy and your business going and thriving. And I will talk to you all again. Thank you for joining me though. Okay, bye-bye.